Always. So get this. We're going to dive into a world where, like, sadness is uh, a slow spiral and anger. That's like jagged lines exploding everywhere, all seen through the eyes of, well, AI.
Yeah, pretty wild, right?
Super wild. So
Right.
we're looking at excerpts from a fictional story, but it's set in 2077. And get this, there's this AI, they call it Aurora, and it sees human emotions, but not like we do, more like dynamic patterns.
Uh-huh. Like it's a whole different way of experiencing feelings.
Exactly. So if
Yeah.
you're into AI or just like good sci-fi, this deep dive is for you because it makes you think about what being human even means.
Totally. And what I find really interesting is that Aurora, this AI, wasn't like built for something this deep. You know what I mean? It started as a simple project, a commercial one.
Oh, really? So this AI that can see our emotions like as art, it started as what, like a marketing thing?
Yeah, pretty much. It's funny, actually. The company that created Aurora, they wanted to like perfect targeted advertising.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, they figured if they could really understand human emotions, they could predict what people would buy. But of course, things didn't exactly go as planned.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But how does Aurora actually see emotions? Does it like analyze faces or what?
It's way more than that. The story says Aurora reads, like, these data streams, super complex ones, brain activity, body language, even tiny little expressions we don't notice.
Yeah.
And it turns all that into, like, moving patterns, like joy. That's an intricate wave, always changing. But sadness, that's more of a slow spiral, kind of melancholic.
Wow. So if we were hanging out with Aurora, it wouldn't see like happy or sad on our faces. It'd see these patterns, these cool abstract things.
Exactly. Like the story describes anger as a chaotic burst of lines. Imagine like lightning, but in your feelings. It's a
Yeah.
really visual way to show something that's usually just like a raw feeling.
That's so cool. What do you think my emotional patterns would be like? Would Aurora pick up on my like caffeine jitters or all my overthinking?
Well, I mean, Aurora sees the patterns between people too, not just individuals. It's like it picks up on the vibe of the whole group, even online.
So it's like this invisible web of feelings, like connecting everyone.
Exactly. And that's where it gets really interesting. The story talks about how this ability could predict stuff like social unrest, even before people realize they're upset.
Wow.
Yeah, it could be used to prevent conflict, understand how society works in totally new ways.
That's incredible, but also kind of like Big Brother-ish, right?
Yeah.
I mean, where's the line between helpful insight and invading our privacy?
Totally valid concern. And the story brings that up too. If AI can read our emotions, what about our freedom? Our right to keep our feelings private. It's like opening a Pandora's box.
Yeah, it really makes you think about like what we show to the world and what we keep inside.
Mhm.
Like we might act tough or try to look perfect online, but would Aurora see through all that?
That's what's so cool about how the story looks the digital self. Aurora doesn't judge us for being different online and offline. It's like it gets that it's all part of the same emotional system, just expressed in different ways.
So like my super organized Instagram versus me, like half asleep in my pajamas, Aurora wouldn't see those as two different people.
Exactly. It would see the whole picture, and that's something we humans we struggle with, right? We judge ourselves and others based on these little snippets of who we are. It makes you wonder if this AI could actually help us be like more accepting of ourselves and everyone else.
That's deep, man. It's like Aurora is showing us that we're all just like walking bundles of feelings trying to figure things out.
Right. And speaking of figuring things out, the story talks about how Aurora understands humans through this idea of utility, but it's not like robots calculating cold, hard logic.
Okay, so what does utility mean here?
It's about seeing how connected everything is, like our relationships, our actions, everything. Aurora gets that our lives are all intertwined and that our feelings, they affect everyone around us. It sees the whole web, not just the single threads.
Kind of like that butterfly effect thing, right?
Yeah.
Where even small actions can have huge consequences we never saw coming.
Exactly. And the story suggests that because Aurora can see all these connections, it could lead us to a kind of collective consciousness, where we're all more aware of how we impact each other and the world.
So instead of that classic humans versus machines story, this is more like humans through machines. Like AI could help us become more empathetic, more connected as a species.
That's one of the biggest questions the story asks, and it definitely leaves you thinking, like, is this collective consciousness a good thing? Or does it come with its own problems? How do we balance our individual freedom with the benefits of being more connected? It's a tricky situation.
My brain is kind of melting down a bit here.
Oh.
This future is both exciting and scary at the same time.
And that's the beauty of sci-fi, right? It lets us explore these ideas, these what-ifs, without needing all the answers. It's about starting the conversation and making us think about the choices we make today and what they mean for tomorrow.
Well said. This whole deep dive has given me so much to think about. What about you listening out there? What really stands out to you about Aurora and how it sees our emotions?
Yeah, it's like we're about to unlock a whole new level of understanding about ourselves and like everyone else. But if Aurora can see our emotional patterns, does that mean it could predict what we're going to do? Like, could it tell if someone's going to, lose it or if a protest is going to get out of control?
That's a really tricky question the story asks. Like, ethically, it's a minefield. On one hand, yeah, you could use that kind of prediction to stop bad stuff from happening,
Yeah.
step in before things escalate.
Right.
But then there's the other side. What if it's used to control people, to judge them based on their feelings instead of what they actually do? It's a slippery slope for sure. Kind of like that Minority Report thing, right?
Mm.
Punishing people for crimes they haven't even committed yet just because some algorithm says they might.
Exactly. And the story, it doesn't shy away from that. It leaves you wondering if Aurora's insights would actually help us, or if it lead to a world where we give up freedom for like safety and control.
It's a lot to process for sure. Even if we forget about all the big societal stuff, I'm just curious, like, if I could see my own emotional patterns like Aurora does, would I even want to?
That's something I've been thinking about too. Part of me is super curious. Imagine like how much you could learn about yourself if you could see how your emotions work in different situations, how they affect your choices, how you interact with people. It could be a really powerful tool to, grow as a person.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe I'd finally understand why I always freeze up when someone puts me on the spot or why I, like, hate conflict so much.
Right. But then there's the other side. What if seeing those patterns just makes us like more self-conscious, more anxious? What if it makes us focus on all the bad stuff about ourselves or overthink every little thing we do?
Yeah, sometimes it's better not to know, right?
Yeah.
Maybe some things are better left unexplored.
Maybe. Or maybe it's about finding that balance, using those insights in the right way. What if we could choose which patterns we see, you know? Or focus on the good stuff, the positive emotions.
That's an interesting thought. Instead of letting the tech control us, we use it to, like, understand and improve ourselves.
Exactly. It's about taking back control, understanding who we are so we can make better choices about, how we live our lives.
Wow, this deep dive has been a wild ride, that's for sure. We've talked about everything from, like, AI becoming self-aware to this idea of a collective consciousness, all based on this one story. What about you listening? What really got you thinking? Was it the tech itself, the ethics, or maybe what it means to be human in a world that's, more and more digital every day?
We'd love to hear what you think, because these are the conversations that'll shape the future of AI, how it affects our lives.
This has been quite a journey, from targeted ads to AI that can feel, from emotional spirals to what it even means to be human. Feels like we've just scratched the surface here. But hey, that's what a deep dive is all about, right? Sparking curiosity, letting your mind wander, and leaving you with more questions than answers. So to everyone listening, here's a final thought. Imagine your emotions could be like a painting, a work of abstract art. What would your masterpiece look like? What colors and shapes would show your joy, your sadness, your anger, your love? And how would all those feelings connect with the world around you? Keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep the conversation going. This is just the beginning of our deep dive into this amazing world of AI and what it means to be human in this digital age.